Hey guys, and welcome to this Let's Draw! So today is going to be a different kind of video. Not that I'm usually very consistent with those, but let's just keep moving on. As you guys know, I'm working on an indie game project called Cubiverse. And I was originally planning on making a video about all of the illustrations I did for Cubiverse during December. And I even had footage of my face. Wishing you happy holidays. However, while editing it, I realized this is boring as hell. Also, Christmas was 2 months ago. That's not a good idea for a video.
But if you're still interested, I put the speedrun video up on the Cubiverse channel, and the footage for the Christmas cube pretty much just looked like that. Beam, burm, burp, yay, and finished cube.
But worry not, young viewers, because that video actually spawned a new idea, and that is this video. So today I want to show you the process of how I streamlined making concept art for Cubiverse. And maybe if you're doing concept art yourself and you have a puzzle game, or you just have a game where you need lots and lots of concept art for just small iterations, maybe it can help you simplify your process. If you're interested in how I make a Cubiverse cube from scratch, click this video here. After drawing the first 8 cubes, I realized these are a lot of cubes. I spent hours drawing those cubes. This is not good. The good thing about those first 8 cubes was that we had all the ideas for settings in there. We had all the assets, the 3D assets that we wanted to have on the cubes. All this information was in there. However, we didn't have weather effects, we didn't have daytime, nighttime cubes, we didn't have decorative assets. We had all the gameplay stuff in there, but we didn't have like flowers and different trees and stones and just things that make each cube unique, but I just couldn't keep drawing cubes over and over again from scratch. So after these 8 cubes, we kind of got a feeling of how much concept art we would need, because we were gonna have 50 cubes in the final game, and each of these cubes should feel unique. But I just couldn't draw 50 cubes, like, not going to happen. And keep in mind that the images I'm aiming for are not marketing artwork, they're not portfolio pieces, they're just there to showcase different ideas, and they're there to show them fast. So we can just have an image, see if an idea works. If it doesn't work, throw it out. If it works, alright, give it to the team member who's going to realize the idea later on. For example, if we want to have a darker cube, we have to add some sort of light to the character. So let's just try some kind of headlight and see if that even would look good before we attempt in building it.
So the first thing I did was open the game on my PC and screenshot a cube to use as a base. For the first batch of cubes, I used the 3D model as a base to get the perspective right. After I had the first cube done, which was the Easter cube, I took the grass from that cube to use it on other cubes, and that is when I set up the Modular PSD file.
So now that we've gone over all of the details, let's just hop into the PSD file, and I'm actually going to show you how I set everything up, and I'm just going to show you some examples of how the modular kind of concept cube I have as a base, how it works, and maybe it can give you some inspiration for your own projects. So that's the PSD file where I have all the assets that I need to get a cube concept started, and let's just jump in and I'll walk you through the layers.
The first layer I obviously need is the background, and I just have a really subtle gradient here from this darker blue to a lighter blue. What I can just do is press Ctrl U and just use this slider to change the background. Usually I just go in there and I adjust some of the backgrounds. So after I have that, I add the stars. I have them on separate layers, so I can click this little icon and lock the layer. And for example, I could go up here, select this really bright pinkish kind of color, and just go in here and make some of the stars a little more pink. I can put some yellow ones in there, and I have this layer mode set to color dodge. So if I go into the background and make it darker, the stars are gonna pop even more if they're colorful. So let's go back to the normal boring white stars. Other than that, I just have some background stuff floating in here. I sometimes use these little kind of sun cube shapes that I just have in different colors. You can also press Ctrl U and just change the color of those. I don't really use them that often. And now comes the interesting part, and that is the cube itself. The first 50 cubes are all gonna be grass cubes, so there won't be any snow or any rocky kind of cubes. So with a cube I can do the same thing. Press Ctrl U and just shift it closer to red to get a kind of brownish dyed grass. I can push it towards blue to have it more turquoise. I can play with the saturation and the darkness. Usually I just go back and forth between the foreground and the background because now this cube looks very out of place. But if I just adjust the background a little bit, yeah, let's make a really depressing kind of cube. So then I go back in here because this feels too bright. Yeah, that's gonna be like, this is a really depressing cube, alright? But I think you get it. You just have to go back and forth so the cube and the background actually match each other. Sometimes I know beforehand what kind of feel I want to have, but sometimes I just go back and forth. And right now, this took me like, let's say 2 minutes. And right now, I can just start drawing on top of this, or I can just take assets from the other cubes that I've already drawn and put them in there. And just by playing around with this cube and the background and the stars, I have a completely new cube that has some different properties, different mood, and also gives me inspiration. Right now we don't have a cube like this one. We have darker cubes, but this one is, yeah, it's really dark compared to the others because it's so desaturated. I really like it. I'm thinking some kind of graveyard cube right now, but I can't do that since we want to keep that kid friendly. Alright, back to kid friendliness. So I just mentioned that I could just put some assets on there, so why don't we do that? Boom! Done! Concept finished. 10 out of 10. So the other layers I have in this PSD are all different positions of the rocket and the character. So for example, if I want to just showcase some really simple stuff, I can just have the character, the rocket in here. If I say, okay, I don't want the crystal, bam, crystal is gone. If I say, okay, I don't want any of these three, they're like, add rocket, add this little guy, and just boom, shadow. Now I have them in a different position. Now I can put stuff down the sides of the cube or back here, or I can just take this guy and his shadow and put him over here, or put him over here, or put him over here. The perspective is not going to be 100% correct, but at this stage I just don't care. I just want the character in a position where it's useful for my concept art. So, and I think I also have the rocket in a different position. So if I need the whole surface area of the cube, put the character over here. If I need all of that space, I can just put the rocket here on the side, and I don't even need a shadow because this cube side is just in the shadow. The last two things I have in this master PSD file is a color correction, where I already set the shadows to a bit more bluish and turquoise tint, and the lights a bit more red and yellow. I can just go in there and just play around with that if I want to, if I just aim for a different effect. Sometimes this just has some cool effects and I'll get lucky. But I usually have my standard settings of, yeah, more bluish shadows and more orangish lights. And the last two things are a grid. This is a grid I set up once, so if I actually have to draw new assets for the cube, I can just make a sketch on top of that, and I have my perspective grid set up, and I don't have to estimate the perspective, and I can just draw stuff in here, and it's gonna look somewhat correct. So I usually export that or save that with every cube, so I can just check my perspective. And another layer I have is just a gray or black layer that sets the whole cube to black and white to check my grayscale values. The things that I'm looking for is the character popping out. For example, here the cube is very light and the character's helmet is kind of dark, and you can see him against this the background. So that's actually pretty good. If I put assets on here, okay, so I should probably make this a bit darker. Blah blah blah. Okay, the light is coming from this side, so that's gonna be in shadow. And I can see, okay, it pops out against the background. If that's not the case, I just go in and just adjust some of the light and dark areas. And the second area I put a lot of focus on is this one down here, and this one up here. So is the cube really popping out from the background? Like, does it stand out, or do I need to get in there into the background and just make this a little bit darker and make this a little bit lighter? So now this area and this one really pops. I don't do it that extreme. I think the way it looks right here is alright, but sometimes the bottom of the cube just has the same kind of gray as the background, so I just go in there and I make the background lighter or I make the cube darker. But this grayscale layer just helps me figure out that, like, this is kind of my final check if the values are all okay. When I draw the cubes, usually I just check back in between, just set it to black and white really quickly and just check if everything still works. But usually after I set up the background, the stars, the cube, and I have the character and the rocket and everything where I want, I do this little check. If the cube's fine, I'm just gonna keep on painting, and if it's not fine, I'm gonna correct it and then add some assets. Now to show you some examples. And last year at IFCC, where I was showcasing this, the concept work for Cubiverse and just showing the game around, the artist Paul Scott Canavan came up with the idea of having a waterfall run through the cube. So I took my basic cube, as you can see, I cut holes in it, filled them with dirt, just adjusted some stuff and put a waterfall in there. But this cube is really empty as it is right now, and I wanted to have it mysterious. I wanted to have just some water particles and fog around it. But I didn't have enough time to just paint some cool flowers to put on there. So what did I do? I just stole most of the stuff from the Easter cube that I showed you before. Same flowers, and here you can also see the base of the house and the tree trunk, and I just copied them on here. And then what I did is just go over, just add some more water, one stone, and started shifting the colors of the flowers. And I adjusted the whole cube, some mist, and then I just painted over it, like boom, boom, just changed some stuff around, just add some glow to the box, and it's done. This whole thing, 15 to 30 minutes. And you have a whole different cube from this one. And you also have the awesome idea of the waterfall. The next idea I wanted to try is, what if we put actual fog on this cube? Like make it rainy, make it foggy, have some ruins. And I just used the same approach. I adjusted the background, adjusted the cube, but you can also see here the ruins from the other cube, some stones, flowers, the tree trunk again. And I added painted that stone. Then I added one of the, just a screenshot from the in-game rain cloud model. I painted over it so it would look more, it would fit the concept a bit more. Then just adjusted some of the colors, and then just threw some fox silhouettes on there. And from here on, I just color balanced everything out and did small little adjustments. And with just these small adjustments, I know that the fog doesn't look that good. But the idea of having really thick and cloudy fog on the cube comes across. And the cube is not just empty, there's stuff on there. And this is why I do these kinds of concepts, to showcase small ideas really fast, find out if they work, and if they don't, we can just drop them, but we didn't lose that much time. At this point, all of these cubes are connected in some way. If I open the autumn cube, you can see, oh, guess who reused the cloud? And if we go one concept further, oh, this tree kind of looks like this tree, and that tree kind of looks like that tree. Oh, guess who copy-pasted everything? And yeah, this is just, if you go from cube to cube to cube, you can always see me reuse assets, but the overall color palette of the cube, the atmosphere, and just I also think details like these leaves blowing in the wind, or just the subtle fog on these two cubes compared to this one. I think it really makes a change, and you can really see how every one of these cubes is different, even though they all use the same assets. And this is also what we will have in the final game. We will have a bunch of the same 3D assets because we can make unique trees and stones and grass for every cube. We're gonna have the same pool of, let's say, 50 assets, and that's it. And we have to be modular. But what we can change is the color of the cube tiles, the light source, the color of the stars, the background, and we have so much control over all these different factors. So yeah, I hope this has been interesting for those who just wanted to have a look behind the scenes of Cubiverse. And for those of you who are also working on a game project where you need a lot of modular concept art, just keep in mind you don't have to paint everything from scratch. Like, if you can reuse stuff, then reuse stuff. And I know that most artists are like, no, I want to paint everything. This is absurd. I'm not one of those copy pasters. I don't think anybody actually says that, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. So my point is, if you're short on time, reuse stuff. You don't have to paint everything. If you want to know more about Cubiverse, there's gonna be a bunch of links in the description. And yeah, if you're interested in these kinds of videos, maybe I'll do some more. Maybe I'll also show some from prototype to artified game stuff. I plan on working on some indie game stuff, so maybe I'll show some of that. Yeah, just let me know what you want to see, because I'm still trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing, and there's gonna be a lot of seemingly random content at first, since I'll just try and do videos that I just want to do, and yeah, let's just see how that works. And with that, I say goodbye, have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye! Welcome to this bleh. So I just shot the first half of the video being close to the camera like this, and now I kinda figured that I've been doing all this talk with my hands and you just can't see it at all. My face is in shadow. That way. Let me just walk you through the... Really? Moving on. Word. Out of the frame.